I made it through my first month of unemployment. And that comes with an asterisk because, yes, I've been unemployed for a month, but I still have severance coming in because I had 8 weeks of my voluntary severance. So those are still flowing. And that kind of means I'm not really, it doesn't feel like I'm really unemployed because I still have money coming in from my company. Yeah, I wanted to reflect on that month of not having a job because I have not had that since graduating college, even before. So during college, I think I always had a job. There was one summer where I did not really have a job, but I drove for DoorDash, and that was basically my job. It was like contract work technically, so I guess it is a job. But yeah, ever since then, I've never not had a job. So this is the first time. Graduated college, immediately had a software developer role. From there, went to Indeed, was at Indeed for 3 years. Now there's nothing. There's no, it's still weird when I go to bed. I don't need to wake up at any specific time. I don't need to think about when do I need to log in? There's no requirement there. And it's kind of nice in that I don't need to worry about, someone's expecting me to be in this meeting at this time and I need to have something to report back. There's just none of that. I literally have no responsibilities in that sense. But at the same time, that just means I have to place those expectations on myself because no one is telling me to do work. No one is checking in. There's no stand-ups. So if I don't do work, no one really cares. No one notices. So it takes away a level of anxiety in the sense that other people are expecting me to do things, but it adds a layer because now it's up to me and I have to be the one who is on top of those things. And yeah, I'm sure other entrepreneurs have had that experience. At this point, I much prefer what I'm going through right now. I much prefer this thing where it is I am keeping myself accountable. Additionally, I have a coach who is very helpful in that. And we just meet once a week. That in itself is very, very helpful. But other than that, it's just me. It's just me keeping myself accountable. And again, I much prefer that to a boss keeping me accountable, especially at a job that I didn't particularly care for or particularly feel passionate about. Now it's okay, I need to work today, but here's the caveat. I actually am going to enjoy the work I'm doing. I'm actually excited to work on my app or work on the podcast or work on, researching for the podcast, things like that. These things are genuinely exciting and they don't feel constraining or take something out of me to do them. So my life feels a lot more exciting and a lot less constrained. Using that word again, constrained was the feeling I had when I was working because even when I had free time, when work was slow, there still was this feeling of I gotta keep an eye on Slack. There's this other stuff, I gotta just be aware of that. I have this thing that I haven't done that I don't need to do necessarily, but someone might notice. All these things that come out of just being out of integrity with what I was doing. Working at a job that I just didn't care about and did not need also. Because I don't want to there is a distinction here. Some people do work at jobs that they don't care about, they don't like, but they do it out of necessity. It's because they need the money that comes in every 2 weeks or every month. And I had gotten to a point where I didn't necessarily need that money, at least not for, however many months. So this kind of disconnect from the money in terms of me working, but not needing the money and not caring that much and not connecting the two. I'd gotten to a point where the money just felt like it just comes, I just get a direct deposit every 2 weeks. And it was disconnected from the work that I was doing. Whereas the ideal situation for an employee, which is kind of forced upon entrepreneurs, is you get paid because of the work you do. If you're an entrepreneur and you don't do anything, you will not get paid. You won't make new money. But as a employee in the best situation, there's a clear connection. That's I work and that's why I get paid. And you might love what you do at the same time, but there's still a connection that you are getting paid because you do your work. I had lost that completely. I was just I just get paid because I'm just cool. I'm just lucky enough that I get paid. And that was partially because the work was quite easy at times and did not feel like it mattered at all. It didn't feel like what I was doing was anyone cared about, even like, bosses, people on my team. It was very outside of what felt like reality. And so now going into the full-time entrepreneur journey, it's like, this is reality. This is where shit gets real. And the days of money just comes to me are over. This is like, if I want money, I need to figure out how to make money come to me. And that's a complete different ballgame. So that's kind of the first month. There have been a few days where I've had this like realization that I don't have an income. I don't have, money coming in every month or every 2 weeks. And it's kind of like an oh shit feeling where I'm like, oh, this is real. This is like, I left my job and there's going to be a time where I do not have money coming in. And so I've had these oh shit moments where I'm like, this actually needs to work. And that's kind of a funny, interesting thought there, which is when I was working and I had these like projects I was working on the side, which none were very successful. I haven't been able to make a side hustle, like make any significant amount of money. And I think the reason why is what I'm talking about, which is as I'm working at my normal job and then I have these things I'm working on the side, there's never like a need for them to make money. And so they feel more like games, little projects, just things I'm working on that like I'm calling them businesses, but in my head, they don't really need to work. Like there's no need for the money to come in because I have this job and that covers everything. Like that's good. That pays for me and it also pays for the projects themselves if they require any kind of, investments or whatever, subscriptions, things like that. Now, this is no longer like a game. These are not little like game projects, toy things that I'm playing with. Genuinely, this thing needs to work because if it doesn't work, then I'm going to have some consequences because I'm going to, not have an income. And at a certain point, I run out of money. So there is a recognition there that like, oh shit, this is real. This is no longer a fun little game. This is a serious thing that needs to work. And my intuition says that realization is what will make the difference for me. That's what's going to make the difference between something that doesn't make money, something that does. Because something that doesn't make money, I can try to have it make money and then it's not really working. Okay, whatever. I'll keep like working on it in different ways, but I don't really care about the money part that much. Now, when something needs to make money, it's different. Like if all of my attention is on, okay, this needs to make money so I can live. How do I do that? There's a lot more that I'll be doing when there's a need there. So this is not me saying that everyone should quit their jobs and get to a place of need, but I think in the most extreme situations, having a need is going to change the motivation behind something. And doing something for fun is great. And I highly recommend just working on stuff because of the fun of it. But if you want to get out of a situation like a job where you are not happy and you're unable to make a business work, maybe what you need is the need to make something else work. And you'll never have that need if you stay at your job.